There we go. Check, check, 1, 2. Okay, so sorry about that. Got my mic working now. Okay, so this is a very quick presentation explanation of the grammar concept that we went over in class on Monday. If you go to Module 2 Grammar Presentation, click here for the presentation. I'm going to skip the review. If you want an explanation of fragments and run-on sentences, that's in Module 1. Those are still there. You can go look up the videos for that. You can look up, you could also read through the presentation, which I think will, be clear enough. So let me just skip to the new stuff so we don't waste your time here. So, like I said, the review is on fragments. It just reminds you, gives you examples, and then run on sentences, comma splices, right? How to fix comma splices, 4 ways to do that. But the new stuff is the comma errors. When really, it's one thing. It's one specific comma error that I see all the time. That it should not be too difficult to find these errors and fix them and not, make this error anymore. Okay, so the main thing is that when you write a compound sentence, you must include a comma. And when you write a sentence that has a compound verb, you need to not include the comma. I've seen errors where people write compound sentences and leave out the comma, or they write a sentence with a compound verb and insert a comma where there shouldn't be. Either way, those are 2 mistakes that you want to avoid. So, compound sentence contains 2 complete sentences separated by a coordinating conjunction. So, killing cats to stop the bubonic plague was a logical solution, but it was based on a faulty assumption. Killing cats to stop the bubonic plague was a logical solution is a complete sentence in and of itself. It has a subject and verb. Killing was subject and a verb. And it has a coordinating conjunction, but we'll talk about those in a second. And then it was based on a faulty assumption is also a complete sentence. It is the subject, was based is the verb. And prepositional phrase, you don't need that. But it has a complete thought, okay? So that is a compound sentence. A compound verb does not contain 2 complete sentences. Move myself up here. So killing cats to stop the bubonic plague was a logical solution. Again, that's a complete sentence. But if you look at the part that comes after the coordinating conjunction, it says was based on a faulty assumption. That's not a complete sentence, right? We have the verb was based, but what was based on a faulty assumption? Well, killing cats was based on a faulty assumption. So killing cats, killing really, does 2 things. Killing was and also killing was. So it was a logical solution. And it also was based on a faulty assumption. You have 2 verbs that go with this subject. So what happens is if you put a comma here, you're separating everything before it with everything after it. You're saying that what comes before the comma is a complete sentence and what comes after is a complete sentence, and it's not. You don't want to separate the 2 because was based is connected to a word up here, killing. And if you put a comma here, it separates killing from base, and all of a sudden, they're not connected, and that's very confusing. We need to know that killing cats was based on a faulty assumption. Up here, it was based on a faulty assumption. That's the subject. Now, yes, it is a pronoun, and that refers to killing cats. What is it? It is killing cats. But it is the pronoun for this sentence, which makes this a complete sentence by itself. It stands alone. So therefore, we need to separate it with a comma, right? You could separate it with a period and get rid of the, coordinating conjunction. But for whatever reason, the writer wanted to, probably vary the sentence structure, make it more interesting, not just have all simple sentences. So you can do that. You can combine things, but you still need to let the reader know that we have two complete sentences here. So there's a little bit of a separation. Okay. So compound sentences require a comma before the coordinating conjunction to let us know that we have two complete sentences. Killing cats was to stop the bubonic plague was a logical solution, but it was based on a faulty assumption. Put a comma here to indicate that we have a coordinating conjunction and another complete sentence. Okay. You'll notice that there's only one word that is the difference between a compound sentence and a compound verb. It's the word it right here. When because this serves as the subject to this sentence. You take out it, the sentence works, but it's no longer a compound sentence. You no longer have two complete sentences. Now you have one complete sentence, which is fine. It's perfectly fine to do that. You just don't have a comma here. So that's all we're getting at is when do you use a comma and when do you not? Say, oh, it's so confusing. I don't know how to do it. Well, it's really not too bad. As long as anytime you write in a coordinating conjunction, is the word that comes right after it a noun, right, or pronoun? If it is, you probably have a complete sentence after it and you need a comma here. If not, if it's a verb, then you probably have a compound verb and you don't put a comma. When do I put a comma? When there's a subject after the coordinating conjunction, or when there's a complete sentence. That's really the more complete answer, after a coordinating conjunction. Okay. What are the coordinating conjunctions? I'm glad you asked. Go back to the review. It says it right here. It's the fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Notice that because is not the be. If you have a sentence and a because and then another complete sentence, that is a complex sentence and you do not put a comma there. Okay, that's a whole other thing that we'll get into, I think, second semester. So make sure it only works with these words. These are the only words that can coordinate two complete sentences together. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Compound verbs do not include a comma before the coordinating conjunction. Compound sentences require a comma. Now, I have a bunch of examples here. We did this in class. I had you all, write out the answers, but I'll just go over them very quickly. And they're not just compound sentence versus compound verb issues. They also have fragments and comma splices, run-ons. So what I suggest you do if you're watching this because you missed class is, after I read the question, pause it, try to answer it yourself, and then unpause it and see what the answer is. Okay? So figure out what the error is. Swimming through the muddy waters of the lake, I kept my focus on getting to the other side and not drowning before I reached land. Pause it, and then I'll tell you the answer. So here we have a comma and a coordinating conjunction, and we do not have a complete sentence after it. Okay? So if you don't have a complete sentence after the coordinating conjunction, you don't want a comma here because I kept my focus on what? On getting to the other side and on not drowning. These are the two things. So in this case, it's not actually a compound verb, to be honest. It's a connection. It's a prolonged prepositional phrase, right? This is what I kept my focus on, getting to the other side, or actually, it's that adjectival phrase. What it is doesn't matter. Okay, but it's not a complete sentence. This is the main thing. It's the main thing you want to focus on here. So I kept my focus on this and on that. That is all part of the same sentence. So you don't want to put a comma here. Okay. Next one. I needed to distract. This is all part of the same, story. I needed to distract myself because focusing on how tired I was did not help. Pause. So we have a complete sentence. I needed to distract myself. We have because, and focusing on how tired I was did not help. So you're thinking, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. We have a complete sentence, coordinating conjunction, and complete sentence. No, what I just said over less than a minute ago, or around a minute ago, was that because is not a coordinating conjunction. And if you really want to know what was the difference, well, you can switch the order of the sentence. Because focusing on how tired I was did not help, I needed to distract myself. That's what makes this, a complex sentence and not a compound sentence. It is what it is. So, if you don't put a comma here, then and you have a word like this, it indicates that you could have flip-flopped them. Okay. It's the same thing as using the word since. Since focusing on how tired I was did not help, I need to distract myself. Period. Right? You wouldn't put a comma before since. I need to distract myself since focusing on how tired I was did not help. You wouldn't put a comma there, right? So in any case, so don't do it with because. Okay, 3 more. It occurred to me that I might not make it all the way across the lake. I might die. I might die is, oh, sorry. Pause. Okay. I might die is a complete sentence, right? I is, what do they call them? Modal, I think. But die, right? It's something that might happen. I might. No, might is the verb. Yeah, I might. Die is what might happen. Yeah. This. Okay. But in any case, you have a subject and a verb and a complete thought. And so it's a complete sentence is a comma splice. Okay. So you put a semicolon there, period, however you want to do it. All right, last 2. I didn't want that. It would really put a damper in my weekend. Pause. Okay, here you have 2 complete sentences with no punctuation in between. I didn't want that, period. It would really put a damper in my weekend. And then finally, I made it to land, and I was glad I did. Complete sentence, coordinating conjunction, put complete sentence, missing the comma. When you have 2 complete sentences and a coordinating conjunction, you must put a comma in between. So I hope you got 100% on that. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about anything, just email me and, I will help out. Okay. Thanks. I will see you in class probably.